Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Chinmaya, and in this video I'm going to tell you how you can give your old computers a fresh lease of life by installing the Linux operating system on them. If you have an older computer running Windows 10 and wanting to upgrade to Windows 11, there is a possibility that you might have come across this screen that you are seeing after running a PC health check. The screen essentially tells you that your old computer does not meet Windows 11 requirements as it does not have TPM 2.0 and that the CPU on your old computer is not supported by Windows 11. Well, there might be things that you could do to resolve this. And while your current Windows 10 will be supported till 2025, it pretty much sounds like your old computer is probably at the end of its useful life, right? Well, no, wrong. Your computer might have many more years of useful service. It's just that you need to realize that Windows is not the only operating system out there, and then go ahead and take a leap of faith. Well, this may take a little bit of courage, and maybe like if you were asked to move out of a house in which you have been living for a long time and move to a new neighborhood, even if the house in the new neighborhood was beautiful, secure, and above all free forever, it is a scary thought nevertheless. Well, all you need to do is to consider installing Linux on your computer, and your old computer will spring back to life. It'll be faster, secure, private, and awesome. So you don't need to throw these old computers away. You can try Linux. If you ask me, I would recommend you should try Linux anyway because of the many benefits that it gives you. It gives you freedom in a digital world that is being increasingly run by algorithms. It is very secure. It has low system requirements. It is fast. It has a rock solid, stable performance. And you have a huge source of open source and free software to choose from for almost every conceivable thing that you would like to do. All you need to do is to just simply go and install that software. No money required. And then, very importantly, all future updates are completely free. So you should give Linux a try anyway. And whenever there is a discussion on trying Linux as opposed to Windows, it should not be an either or kind of situation. If you have an old computer, you can try both. You can keep using your Windows computer and give Linux a try, and then maybe take a call later on. So installing Linux is really easy, yes, and using Linux is easy too. It's just a simple 3-step process. And let's talk about these 3 steps. Step number 1, you need to decide on which Linux you want to use on your computer and download it from the website. So deciding on a Linux distribution, there are hundreds of them out there, but I am recommending one specific Linux distribution, and that Linux distribution is Zorin OS 16.1, and I'm making this recommendation because I personally feel that Zorin is one of the best Linux operating distributions, or distros as they are popularly called. So let's just have a quick look at the Zorin website. So this is the Zorin OS website. Zorin is made in Ireland, and you can scroll down and read more about their projects. There is a blog that has the latest news about Zorin products. You can even subscribe to their newsletter if you wanted to. We are interested in the Zorin OS, so we can come here and click on this. And this takes you to the Zorin OS page. You can scroll down and see some of the benefits of installing Zorin OS. So we just want to go ahead and press the download Zorin OS button. But before I do that, I would like to share what are the system requirements for Zorin OS. And you will see that these requirements are very, very modest. It just needs a 1 gigahertz dual core 64-bit processor, 2 GB of RAM, just about 15 GB of hard disk space, and a display that has a very modest resolution, 1024 by 768 resolution. In terms of storage, there are requirements for education and pro, and these higher requirements are just because additional software is provided out of the box. But the core version of Zorin OS just needs 15 GB. If you have still older machines, you can try Zorin OS Lite and this has still lower requirements. It just needs a single core 1 gigahertz 64-bit processor, and just needs 1 GB of RAM, 10 GB of disk space, and a display of 800 by 600 pixels. If you have a still older machine that is having a 32-bit processor, well, Zorin OS is now no longer supporting 32-bit processors, but you can use a previous version of Zorin OS, and that version will be supported till 2023. But then there are a host of other Linux distributions that support 32-bit processors, and I will leave a link in the description below. You can have a look at those as well. So you can come and click on the download Zorin OS button here, and you will see that there are a few versions of Zorin OS available. One is Zorin OS 16.1 Pro, and while this is a paid version, the amount of money that you need to pay is very, very reasonable. It's just about $35 to $40, and the Zorin OS 16.1 Pro comes with a lot of software, and by paying this much amount of money, you can support the development of Zorin OS. And they also provide you with some other benefits, including some help during installation. But the version that we are targeting is the free version, that is Zorin OS 16.1 Core version, which is completely free. It's a very, very capable Linux operating system that comes preloaded with everything that you need to work on a computer. If you have a still older machine, you can try the Zorin OS 16.1 Lite, and this is also available free of cost here. One word for schools. So if you want to try Zorin in your school and also colleges and universities, they provide Zorin OS 16.1 Education, and you can download it for free. And the difference between core and education versions is that it comes preloaded with a lot of educational apps. You can just simply start using Zorin OS for teaching. So if you are considering using Zorin OS for schools, you can come to For Schools and then download this version for free. So we will be just coming here and clicking on download Zorin OS. So just come here and click, and you will reach the download page. Scroll down, and we will be working with this version, which is the mainstream core version available for free. Just click on download free. They ask you to provide your email address such that they can send you newsletters about the Zorin products. If you don't want to do that, you can just simply come here and click on skip to download, and your download will start shortly. And you can see that your download has started right here. This is like a 2.8 gigabytes file. So you'll have to be a little patient depending upon your internet speed. This may take a little while to download. One other distro that is my personal favorite is Linux Mint 21. And the edition that we are interested in is the Cinnamon edition. So you can go visit the Linux Mint website as well. And you can download this just like you downloaded Zorin OS if you wanted to try this as well. And Linux Mint 21 is a long-term support version, which will be supported till 2027. So if you wish, you can use the same procedure that I'm just about to describe to try out Linux Mint as well. In this video, however, I will be covering Zorin OS because I feel that is the best operating system for people who are wanting to transition from Windows to Linux. So just as you press this download button, your download will start as I mentioned before. And after a while, the Zorin OS disk image file will be available in the downloads folder of your computer. This is a disk image file. It is 2.84 GB and it is a .iso file. And if you were to download Linux Mint 21, it is exactly the same kind of file. It is a disk image file, a .iso file. So as I was just mentioning, I will be talking only about Zorin OS operating system. So this is now in your download folder. Step 1 is complete. We can now move on to step 2. And in this step, we need to copy the file that is now in your download folder onto a pen drive. But this is not just an ordinary copy. We need to create bootable pen drive. So you can do that using a special software. It is called as Balena Etcher. It is completely free and open source. And all you need to do is to visit the Balena Etcher website. and just click on this button here, download for Windows or any other operating system. And then this software will be downloaded on your computer, and you can then just simply go ahead and install it. So once you have downloaded and installed the Balena Etcher, and when you launch Balena Etcher on your computer, you will see a screen like this. All you need to do is to insert a pen drive, which is like at least about 4 GB in size. Just insert it in your computer, and then just come here, and in the first step you need to click on this button and point to the Zorin OS ISO file, which is in your download folder. So this is the file that you wish to copy. That's what you do here. Then you can come here and choose the pen drive on which this file will be copied, and then just go ahead and press the flash button. I'll show this to you in a little while. This is how things will look like. You have chosen the Zorin OS 64-bit ISO file, the one that you downloaded from the Zorin website right here. And this can be mint as well. And here you have chosen the pen drive on which this file will be copied. And then just go ahead and click on flash, and you will now have the Zorin OS transferred onto the pen drive, and the pen drive will actually be bootable. A word of caution, anything on this pen drive will be overwritten. So you need to make sure that the pen drive is not having anything important. So we now have a pen drive that has a bootable version of the Zorin OS or the Linux Mint OS. In step 3, what we need to do is to start your computer and press the F2 or F10 button to enter the system BIOS settings. So this is usually a very simple step. What button to press will depend on your computer. For example, for HP computers, you need to press F10. So just consult a little bit of documentation about your computer. You can even try doing this. Just start your computer and keep pressing repeatedly the F2 or F10 button, and you should enter the BIOS settings. And all you need to do is to just go to boot options and change the order in which the system is looking for operating system. You need to choose the USB option here. And what that means basically is that the computer will first look on the USB drive for a bootable operating system. And if it does not find a pen drive inserted or a bootable operating system on a pen drive, it will then go ahead and boot from your hard drive. So normally the computer just simply boots up from your hard disk. But in this case, all we are doing is we are saying first look on the pen drive. If you find something there, use that to boot up your computer. And if not, then go ahead and boot up normally. There is nothing happening on your computer if you boot up from the pen drive. Your original operating system is completely secure. And if you just simply take out the pen drive, the computer will revert back to your operating system. So this permits you to try the Linux operating system without installing it. And if you decide to install, then you can move ahead. So once you have made this change, just insert your pen drive in your computer and then press the power on button. And the computer will look on the pen drive first for a bootable media. Because we have already created this pen drive with the Zorin OS operating system bootable. So you will immediately see a screen like this, and you can click on try or install Zorin OS and go ahead and install the system. So we will now see these steps in action. So as you can see, I have my Zorin OS 16.1 Core 64-bit disk image file inside this folder that I have downloaded from Zorin website. I will be using this file to create a bootable USB drive. So let me start Balena Etcher. So as you can see, this is the Balena Etcher software. So I will click on this button and point to the Zorin OS 16.1 file. This is the ISO file. The second option then is to select the target. So I'm just inserting my pen drive into my computer, and you will notice that Balena Etcher will automatically detect the pen drive. So as you can see now, the pen drive has been automatically detected. So all I have to do now is to just come here and click on flash button here. So as I click on this, so the process of transferring the Zorin ISO file onto the pen drive and make the pen drive bootable has already started, as you can see, and it is progressing. So this may take a few minutes, and after a little while, this will be complete. So as you can see, it's almost done. It has been about 2 minutes since I started, and it's nearing completion. So it's finished writing, and now it's just validating. It goes through the pen drive trying to validate the write. So as you can see, the validation process is nearing completion, and it's almost done. And this is the completion message. So this message is telling me that the writing is complete and the Zorin OS ISO file has been transferred onto the pen drive successfully. And the pen drive is now a bootable medium for the Zorin OS Linux system. So I can just simply go ahead and use it to install Linux system on my computer. So now before I can use the pen drive to boot with my Zorin OS, I need to go into my BIOS setup. And I'm just showing you as an example an old HP computer. So I just press the power up button and then I repeatedly press the F10 key and this menu opens up. I have just come here and clicked on System Configuration to reveal the boot options link. So I'm going to come here and click on this. And once I've clicked on this, I'm shown this screen. So this is showing the UEFI boot order. So by default, the OS boot manager is on top, which basically means that when the computer is starting, it looks on the hard disk for a bootable medium. And because, for example, Windows is on the hard disk, the computer boots into Windows. In this particular case, I have used the F5 and F6 keys to move the USB diskette on key USB hard disk, this option, to the top. So what this means basically is that when the computer starts, it'll first look for a USB drive. And if that USB drive has a bootable medium, then it'll boot from the USB drive. If there is no USB drive, or if there is a USB drive, but there is no bootable medium, it'll just simply go ahead and boot from the second option, which is the computer's hard disk. So all I have done is I've brought the USB option right on top. So therefore, before I actually press my F10 save and exit, I can insert my pen drive, then go ahead and press F10. So the computer starts booting up again. And because the USB option is right on top, it will then look for the bootable medium on the USB drive. And we have already created that drive as a bootable medium, having the Zorin OS using the Balena Etcher software. So the computer will then start booting up into the Zorin OS Linux system. So after we insert our pen drive and press the power on button on our computer, the computer will boot from the pen drive and you will see this screen. We are going to choose option number 1, try or install Zorin OS. There are a few other options, but they are for special situations. Say, for example, if after choosing one, you are in a situation where your graphic card is not being properly recognized, so you can come back again and try option number 2. If you have a NVIDIA graphics adapter, you can try option number 3. Option number 4 here permits you to go into your BIOS settings and you can change the boot order if you want and do some other things. But then these 3 options are for special situations. We are going to go ahead and click on try or install Zorin OS. And the moment we do that, Zorin will perform some checks. You will see some intermediary screens. And then we are going to see this screen, which will take us forward. So on this screen, you can choose your language. By default, the language chosen is English. You can then come here and click on Try Zorin OS. There's another button to install Zorin OS, but I think it's a safe idea to first go ahead and try Zorin OS because everything is happening from the pen drive. Clicking this button will boot up the Zorin OS and you can try the Zorin OS without any problem. If you don't want to install, all you need to do is to just pull out your pen drive and you are back again to normal. So in this case, we will choose this option, Try Zorin OS. So when the Zorin OS boots up, this is what you see. So this is a wonderful background image here. And one of the characteristic things about this default background image is that as the day progresses, the background light also keeps changing. When it is evening, it becomes dark. When it is morning, it becomes lighter. So this is a wonderful background, but by no means this is the only background that you can have. So let me just take you to a quick tour of Zorin OS. So you can come here and click on the Z button. So there is a very large collection of software that Zorin OS provides you out of the box. One of the first things that I like to show is the Office category here. When you click on it, you'll find that you have pre-installed LibreOffice, LibreOffice Calc for spreadsheets like Excel, LibreOffice Impress, which is the PowerPoint equivalent in the LibreOffice suite, and LibreOffice Writer, which is the Microsoft Word equivalent. So you have all these pre-installed. You have an email client called as Evolution. You can store your contacts using this option. And you have a calendar that is provided to you out of the box. When you go back, you can explore some of the other options. They have given a few games that you can play. And there is an accessory category. So here you have access to clocks. You can add in extensions. You have a file manager. You have maps. You have a text editor. You have a to-do list. You have a note-taking app. And you have access to a weather app. In the graphics section, pre-installed is the GIMP software, which is the Photoshop equivalent. You can have an image viewer. So all these options are available to you. In the sound and video section, you have a sound recorder, a video player, and a video editor out of the box. So you have a huge collection of software that comes pre-installed, and then you have utilities. So you have a software that can take backups for you. And this backup is not just simply on your machine. It can also be on Google Drive. You can set this up, or otherwise you can save it to a local folder and you can schedule your backups. So automatically the backup will be transferred. So there is a really good collection of utilities that you can utilize, a calculator, and then you have a lot of emoji characters and other images that you can use in your documents. So just out of the box, it has a huge collection of software. You have a document scanner, document viewer. So you don't have to install anything really. Something to manage fonts, take screenshots, get information about your system, how it is performing, and so on and so forth. So there is a very huge collection of software that comes out of the box, Zorin OS 16.1. Notice the manner in which this is all presented. You really don't miss Windows at all, and you can just simply start using the operating system straight away. For the internet, they have a pre-installed Firefox web browser. Of course, you can install other web browsers without much problem at all. So a very good collection of software that is available right out of the box. You can search for something just like in Windows. Now, if you can just come here and click on Zorin Appearance, you will see that there are a few desktop templates, layouts that you can choose. And one of these like Windows 11. So if you click on this, you will have all your taskbar icons in the center here. And there is a little grid. So when you click on this, you have all the softwares available from here. Click on it one more time, you get back your desktop. And there are other templates to try. In Zorin 16.1 Pro, you have a few more templates. So that is one of the difference. But then this is one very interesting and good option here that you can actually use to change the manner in which your desktop layout is presented to you. I'm going to stick with the default one, which is this one. And you can come here and change the themes. You can have a dark theme and so on and so forth. Then you have some options for interface. So you can really customize the desktop and the layout of what you see on the screen. Then there's something called as jelly mode. So basically what this means is that if you are moving your windows, it'll be like really, it's a fun thing. So I'm just going to switch this off. The super key here is the Windows key on your keyboard, and you can change it to do something different. You can just simply show the menu. So when you press the Windows key, you will see this menu pop up. And then on the desktop, if you are wanting to have a recycle bin, you can click on this. So that trash bin will appear just like Windows. And if you want to have a home button, so you can have a home button here. So these are some of the customizations that you can do, very highly customizable. Now, coming here, you can right click and have a look at how you can change the background. So you can come here and choose a different kind of background if you wanted to. So immediately the background will change. So you have a very large collection of background images that you can actually choose. If you will notice on the left-hand panel, this is the settings panel. We are just working on the background tab, but there are a lot many other things that you can actually set: sound, power. So this is just like the system settings in Windows. You have direct access to that. You can change the date and time of where you are located, and you can just come here and move to a different time zone location. So all this is available in the settings menu, which is also available from here. So if you are transitioning from Windows, you will find that there's very little effort that you actually need to transition here. This is a browser that you can actually use. Now, one of the interesting things about Zorin OS is that it comes with a tabbed file system. So you can, if you click on this, you have this file manager. And you can say, for example, if I'm located in pictures, so I have these two pictures here. When I click on this picture, I can see that picture because it comes pre-configured with a photo viewer, and you can run a slideshow right here. And this incidentally is Tux, which is the Linux mascot. So if you are in this folder, you have two files right here. And I want to move one of these files to my documents folder. So I can right click on document and open it in a new tab. So you have tabbed file browsing, and I can open one more tab, open in a new tab. So I have now 3 tabs. So this is tabbed file browsing right out of the box. And if I wanted to copy this file to some other location, say for example, from the pictures folder to the documents folder, all I need to do is just simply grab hold of it, come on this tab and drop it. So it is super convenient to copy files. And say, for example, I want to copy this file to the desktop. So I can just simply catch hold of it here and drop it. It arrives on my desktop. If I want to delete it, I can right click on it and just simply go ahead and move to trash. If you come over here and click on this, you have some more options. You can create a new tab. You can create a new folder. So a very, very capable file manager right out of the box. If you want to install some software, you can come here to the software store and click on it. And you have a huge repository of software that you can actually install. You can come here and look for software. So say, for example, if I was looking for some sticky notes, I can just come here. And if I was interested in this software, I can click on this. So you will immediately see an install button. And this is completely open source and free to use. And you will see the download size and the license is completely free. So if you just press install, so as you can see, the software has been installed. I can launch it and the software is now working. I can type something here. If I wanted to remove this software, all I need to do is just press this button and the software will be uninstalled. So very easy, super easy to install and remove software. So if you come here and go to accessories, you will see that This software is now listed here. And if you want to remove it, you can just come here and click on remove and then go ahead and press the remove button. So it is like super easy to install any software that you. So we can come here and keep looking for softwares directly also. So Audacity is a software that is used for audio editing. And if I come down here, I can see more details about this software, the version of the software. And I can just come here and press install and Audacity will be installed. So there is a huge software repository here that you can use to install software. Over here, you will see that this is a button for update. So when you click on it, any software or files that need to be updated, they will be updated in one single go. On this side, just like in Windows, you have your clock. It also shows you your calendar. So you have your volume control here. And this is for your internet and so on and so forth. So like really very familiar environment that you have. This is not supposed to be a detailed Zorin tutorial. And if you click here, you will have your browser working for you now. So you can browse the internet. So say, for example, if I wanted to install Google Chrome, so I can do that. And I can just click on this and press the install button. So I have complete freedom to search for browsers. If I was looking for the Brave browser, I have the Brave browser available here. I can even install Microsoft Edge. Right here, you have Workspaces. So just like in Microsoft Windows, you can click here and you will see that there's nothing going on here. Workspaces are automatically managed here. So say, for example, if you were to come here and go to accessories and start something like a text editor, you will see that when you go to Workspaces, you will see that that thing is appearing here. As you keep opening up things like, say, for example, if I was to open a calculator and go ahead and look at the Workspaces, you will find that there is something now available in the first workspace. I can right click on it and move it down. So when I click on this button, you will find that this is in another workspace. So if I close an application, so currently you will see that there are two workspaces. And let us say, for example, if I was to come here and click on clocks and right click and move it to a workspace down below. So you will find now I have three windows, each having a different application running. And I have a fourth blank workspace, which is automatically created. When I close an application, for example, like this, and go back, you will see that the workspace has automatically been deleted. And if I can just come here and go to my other workspace and then go ahead and close this application, visit this workspace again, you will find that there's now just only one active workspace that I can use. One new workspace is waiting for me. If I wanted to push something down, that one is available for me. So workspace management is automatic, and you can use workspaces to nicely segregate the work that you are doing. That is all available in Zorin OS. Once we are happy with what we see, we can go ahead and install Zorin OS. Let us now quickly see the steps that you need to install Zorin OS on your computer's hard disk. Currently, it is on the pen drive, and now you want to really install it on your computer's hard disk. So you're going to come here and click on this button here, and the installation activity will start. So we'll go through these steps one by one. So the first step in the installation process is the choice of language. And let's just choose English. You can choose any other language that you want. And we are going to go ahead and press continue. So this brings us to options of English. I'm going to go ahead and choose the default, which is English US. You can pick up anything that you want. And we're going to move ahead with this. Here it says that you can download updates while installing Zorin OS. We are going to go ahead and press continue with the default options. So there's nothing much that I'm doing basically here. I'm just going ahead with the defaults and moving forward. Now this is an important screen, and it is telling you that if you move forward, Zorin OS will be installed on your hard disk, and everything that is on your hard disk will be wiped off because this will be a fresh install of the Zorin OS. So if you have something important on your computer's hard disk, before you move ahead, you should make sure that you have a backup, because beyond this point, this will not be available. You can, of course, choose to do something else, which would mean that if you wanted to have a computer which has Windows and also Zorin OS, you can do that by partitioning your hard disk. And when you start your computer, it will give you an option whether you want to boot Windows or whether you want to boot Zorin Linux. And depending on what you choose, your computer will boot up using that operating system. I, however, do not recommend this. But if you have only one computer and you want to install this, that is one of the options that you can take from here. In this particular case, I am going ahead with a scenario that you have an old computer that you want to use, and you will install Zorin OS on that particular computer. So please be aware that from this point onwards, anything on that hard disk will not be retrievable. I'm going to go ahead and press install now. So it's giving you a warning here. So we will go and continue. So on this screen, you need to provide your full name. So I'm going to do that. Next, it wants me to choose a computer name. So I'm going to just type in this. You can choose any name that you want, but you should not use spaces. If you do, it'll object, and you can try this once again. Here, this is important. It wants you to pick a username. So this is different from your name. So this is your username. I'm going to use my initials. Now it wants me to create a password. So I'm going to create a password. And once I'm happy that it's a strong password, here I will have to repeat that password once again. So once I'm done, the last option is whether I would like to log in automatically or require my password every time to log in. I'll leave it here because this is a secure practice. Now I can move forward and press continue. I'm going to do that, which is going to take me onto my next screen, and the installation has now started, and you have nothing more to do. That's all it takes to install Zorin OS 16. Just relax with a cup of coffee when it is installing. We'll let this install and then rejoin after the installation is complete. So the installation continues, and it's nearing the end. So the installation is now complete. It has taken around 10 minutes or thereabouts to complete the installation. There was nothing that was needed from the user's side to intervene in between. Everything was just extremely smooth. So we can restart the computer now. And when the computer restarts, you can then enter your username. In my case, if you will recall, it was CSR. And then you can enter your password, and then you will have a fully installed version of Zorin OS 16.1 that you can enjoy. This is all that is needed to install Zorin OS. It's a pretty straightforward installation. All I need to do is to take out my pen drive that I used for installation, and then press this button, restart now, and your computer will now boot with Zorin OS 16. And you can then enter your login name and password, and you are good to go. You can enjoy your new computer. You have just, kind of breathed a fresh lease of life in a computer that was incapable of running the Windows 11 operating system. And your computer will now serve you for many years. Some people may encounter issues like some drivers not being available. But those issues can be readily sorted out using the FAQs that the Zorin site provides. So I'm going to go ahead and press the restart button. I've taken out my USB drive that I used to install this, that I used in the installation. So here I have my login screen right here, and all I need to do is to enter my password. I'm just doing that. So now I boot into this wonderful, clean, freshly installed Zorin OS 16 on my old computer. I can now start a tour if I wanted to. So if I click on this, it's going to take me through a tour. I would recommend you to go through this. You may also encounter this screen, which is just notifying you after a fresh install that the packages that have been installed by Zorin at the time of creating the ISO file have since been updated. So you can just click on install now to update all the packages and software that has been installed and available. So once you do that, you have a fresh, clean install of Zorin OS on your computer, and your computer can now work for many years. I just wanted to mention one thing when you come to Office and when you are wanting to use LibreOffice Writer, Impress, and Calc. The LibreOffice is very similar to Microsoft Office, so you will not have any problem learning this software or orienting to this particular software. And I have created many tutorials on this, and I'll provide links to those tutorials in the description box, and you can follow them. So if you're away from your workstation for a little while, you're going to see this. You can come and click, and then just go ahead and give your password. So when you are done and you want to switch off your computer, come here and click on this Z button right here. And you can just power off your computer by clicking here. You can restart your computer. All these buttons are provided up front. You don't have to open a menu. And if you're moving away from your desk temporarily, you can come and click on this button to lock your screen. And if you want somebody else to use this same machine, and there are multiple users on your machine, you can log out from your account, and the PC is then available for another person to log in and use the computer. So all these options are provided right here. So you can start your Linux journey with Zorin Linux 16.1 and try to take it forward from there. There are lots of helpful tutorials, and you can also consult the documentation of Zorin OS from their website. Lots of help is there. But in my view, the operating system has been designed in such a beautiful manner that you will not take much time to move on from Windows to Zorin Linux. I hope this video was informative, and I hope that it helps you install Zorin Linux on your old machines and give them a fresh new lease of life. Go ahead, take a leap of faith, and install the Linux system. You will not regret it. Thank you so much for watching.